Because you are the one who had to also tell us of the firing of Vusi Pikoli as the National Director of Public Prosecutions. How did you navigate explaining decisions that perhaps you didn't necessarily agree with?
Well, this is the challenge of being a communication specialist, because you understand that your job is to just communicate and inform the public as best as you possibly could. The Pikoli dismissal decision was particularly tough because it's somebody that I knew extremely well. I just was called into a meeting on a Sunday afternoon with President Mbeki and told that you must make this announcement. And sadly, President Mbeki was on his way to New York to attend the UN General Assembly meeting. So I was going to make the announcement at a time when he was already on a flight to New York. And I also knew that, in fact, the matter had not been fully ventilated and discussed in cabinet. So most of the cabinet members would hear about this decision
from the media
for the first time from me making the announcement. So what I did was to at least cover my back a little bit by calling my minister Esopaha to say, listen, this is the decision I'm just about to announce. Do you have any comment? And he said, no, you can't make that. I said, unfortunately, it's an instruction. I have to make the announcement. So he was equally surprised by the decision. And my job was to make sure that I put together a team, we prepare a statement, and make sure that we make the announcement land much better in the eyes of the public. But I knew that, in fact, this was going to cause havoc in the communication space, because the National Director of Public Prosecutions is supposed to be independent, and there was a process that needed to be followed if that director was to be dismissed. There needed to be a special inquiry and all those kinds of things in terms of the Constitution. But in this particular case, I mean, it was a decision. I simply had to make the announcement. And interestingly, as I was getting into Mahlamba to be told about this decision, I bumped into Pikoli as I was leaving. So clearly he had just been fired or told that he's being suspended, and I did not know. So when I was told about the decision, I immediately made the connection. That's the reason why he was actually there. So I knew that, in fact, the news were going to explode. And when I made the announcement, I had one of the most difficult 48 hours of my communication life, because I got calls from all parts of the world, all corners of the world, where people trying to understand what happened, why is this happening. And I tell you, it was a difficult thing to communicate, but we managed it.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.